Okay. It's very cold. It's like -19. Hi. All right. So welcome back to a new video. And in this video we have Christopher with us. How does it feel to be a YouTube star?
Oh yeah. Wonderful day.
Wonderful day. Yes. So I asked for my Patreons on my Patreon to ask us questions. So we would sit down and do a Q&A. And we drove all the way to this viewpoint, which is one of the most beautiful viewpoints over Longyearbyen. It's also very close. So Longyearbyen is just behind us. And we are, how high are we? We're pretty high up. This mountain is like what? 500 meters?
600-700 maybe.
Woo! So we're like I think we're like 500 meters or something above the sea level, so we've got a good view. And Grim is a psychopath. I don't know, he's so needy. But we love him, but so he's gonna make a lot of noise. He's gonna be peeping, wee, wee, wee. But it's okay. But we're gonna go straight into the questions. And let's start. Okay, so Jason asks, have you had any close encounters with polar bears? Have you or Christopher had to use your weapon? You've been here for how long?
For
8 years?
7 years something.
I think it's 8, but you keep knocking a year off. But yeah?
Nah, not really. They've been close a couple of times, but most of the time they've been quite mellow.
Yeah, I think we've had close polar bear encounters, but we've never really turned to our gun. We've done other things. Like when we were in the cabin, I'll put in the footage, when we were in the cabin and the polar bears came just outside the door at Cap Schultz or outside the window, we kind of resorted to making a lot of noise instead, you know, shooting our gun, because we had a cabin wall in between. So yeah, none of us have had to use our guns in that way.
A smart thing to use is the flare gun.
Yeah. So we always carry flare guns.
Away.
Yeah. And it doesn't do any damage, so you can just, you know, shoot without killing a bear. You just make noise, pretty much.
Yeah.
So flare gun is really good. Okay. Okay, so Elizabeth asks, I would love to hear more about your boating life there. Do most people spend time on the water in the summer? What is the sailing like there? Yeah, so that's the question. And you are the person who bought the boat, which is now our boat.
I think we have about 200 boats in Longyearbyen.
It's a very small harbor.
Yeah.
And like right now there aren't any more boat places, so even though people want to have a boat here, they're on a list and they have a queue for I think 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, I think the queue is about 2 years now.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of people do spend time out on the water, but it is not that easy or cheap to have a boat here. So I think it's something that a lot of people just, it's not possible, you know, because of also there's no boat spaces. But I mean, you, before we got together, always spent every summer out fishing and cabin trips.
Yeah, every weekend.
And I mean, now we still do the same. We're out fishing all the time in the summer.
Yeah.
And going on cabin trips. Yeah. It's lovely being out. What do we fish for?
Mostly cod.
Yeah.
And Arctic char. And haddock.
It's true. And Atlantic wolffish. My record is now 3. It's difficult to, but yeah, I've gotten 3.
Oh, it's a good one.
Colleen asks, I know this is weird, but what about the insects on Svalbard? I have a huge fear of spiders. This is your haven. I have never seen a spider on Svalbard. No. I've never seen a bug. In the summer we have some flies in our house and we are like in shock because we see as 0. There are no insects here.
No, we have some mosquitoes and flies.
Yeah, in the summer, but not in the winter. And I've never seen a spider. And never anything else. Okay, so Lisa Jane, can you tell us a little bit about healthcare on Svalbard? Hospital, doctors, and dentists. So, we have a hospital, which is like a regular hospital, that kind of helps you with basic things. So anything you need an appointment for, they will probably meet you and assess, and then they might send you to the mainland. Like Christopher was in a lot of accidents and broke a lot of things. So he broke 8 ribs. He had a snowmobile accident. So he has really tried this hospital system and seen what it's worth.
It's a good hospital.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, they are attentive and they Yeah, I think it's good. We have what we need, and like our dentist is the best dentist I've ever gone to. Stuff like that is fun. But otherwise, for anything serious, you will be sent to the mainland, but they will probably assess you up here and, you know, take care of you. So I would say also, since we are in Scandinavia, we have the healthcare system of where we don't pay for anything. We pay for it with our taxes. So it's not like, for example, in America where you mostly need like special health insurance and stuff like that. We don't have that. We're covered up here by just paying taxes, and the same is in Sweden and Norway. And what's also special about Svalbard is that when you go to work here and you have a regular work insurance, that covers you at all times, because they see this place as not a dangerous, but it's
I don't know what
dangerous work environment and living environment.
Yeah.
So even though you're not at work and you get in an accident, it will be covered by your job, because because Svalbard is a bit dangerous in a way, or different.
It's gonna be a work accident, even if you do it in free time.
Hey, Minty, hey! Okay, so we're continuing on from what does Christopher do, and you work with logistics at the supermarket and in the warehouse. Alright, Nicole asks, where do you get your loungewear? And I get most of mine from different stores, but they're from like Zara and Massimo Dutti and everything that's cozy and cute I like. Hey! Question number 2 from Nicole. Will you live on Svalbard forever? I see my plan living here for a really long time. Like, I'm so excited about our house, and I could not imagine myself living anywhere else in the world. But I do see myself, or us, having somewhere to go to, like maybe my parents' house in Portugal, for a few months each year. That's my dream life. Living here that's and then good. Going somewhere warm or somewhere else for a few months. Okay, so Meg, how do you prepare for midnight sun? There's no way.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, there's no way to prepare for it. Well, yeah, make sure that your house has curtains. Yeah, like your bedroom needs, like we have, like 3 curtains to keep the sun out. And then also just, I don't know, it's a hard time of year, to be honest. It's quite crazy to never be able to get out of the sun. But just curtains and sunglasses and some sunscreen. Are you enjoying the Northern Lights book? I'm loving the Northern Lights book so far. It's so exciting to read it on here. Kaylin, do you go to the movies? What are the best ways to watch movies? We have one movie theater, and it's in the Culture House. We have cinema on Wednesdays and Sundays, and I've not been there for a while because of COVID, but otherwise I used to go a couple of times. We get movies like pretty quickly, and we are like up to date with all the new releases and everything. So, and they show a lot of kids movies. So on like Sundays, I think they do kids movies in the morning, and then like adult movies 2 in the evening or something. But you don't usually go there.
No, that's not so often.
But you do love watching series at home.
Yeah, series is nice.
Okay, Arlise, do you have to live on Svalbard to own property? Yes. You have to be a local to be able to buy property up here, which is very good, because otherwise people on the mainland could buy everything and we would have nothing. But so you have to have lived here for at least 6 months to be able to buy a cabin. And I think it's the same with an apartment.
That one I'm not sure.
Yeah, but for cabin it's 6 months, and not many of our neighbors actually live in their cabins. Most of them have them as weekend cabin homes. Obviously, because there's no running water, and people usually think that it's, you know, it's a nice weekend home. But we are like a good 5 cabins or so that live there permanently. Teddy, what are your 3 least favorite things about living there?
Nothing.
Nothing. I really can't think of anything. I think, okay, one thing. We can't really buy furniture and stuff like that. That's a little bit annoying. Like now when like decorating our house, we're relying on just looking at pictures online and then hoping that it looks like that in the real life. Otherwise, we love life up here. Rosmac asks about where I've lived previously and studied and worked, and I'm gonna have to do a separate video on that because there are so many different countries that I've lived in, and the timeline is so strange. So I will do a more kind of like get to know me video about it. So I will answer that in the future. Alina, how do you keep your excitement and motivation going, living in such a remote place?
It's always something to do here. You have the seasons, and as long as the weather is normal and quite good, you always have something to do. You go out and have some fun.
I think I find every single season super exciting because there's so much to do. Like, there's always fun stuff and activities, and I don't know, I just love living here. So for me, just going outside the door feels special, and that keeps me super excited. Like, I love it up here. It's so beautiful. Let's see. Cindy, where in the US does your sister live, and how many times have you visited? She lives in Boston, no, Connecticut, I think now, because she's moved around that area a little bit. I've been to her old house twice, and when she lived in Miami, I came and lived with her for 3 months because it was just fun. I was in LA when my older sister was in LA for a year and did some studies. So I've been to America many times, and I love it. I think it's so much fun. Miami is one of my favorite places when it comes to visiting, but I also love Connecticut because fall, pumpkins, it's everything that's beautiful. How do you keep your fingers warm while filming and walking outside? Sarah asks. It's impossible.
My fingers are super cold now.
It's so difficult. For me, I have very warm hands, so if I just wear like windstopper gloves, it helps me out tremendously. But when I take photos and stuff, it's just kind of keeping your hands moving and warming them in your pockets and like shaking. Like, there's no real solution to it. It's quite difficult, I would say. Martha asks, well, says that of course you can't give birth up here and everything, and she has heard that one can't die on Svalbard. But how do they stop people from doing just that? Of course you can die here. It's one of those things that just have stuck with people, like a rumor thing, like, oh, you can't die on Svalbard, but yeah, you can. It's not illegal. It's just that you can't be buried here because of the ground being permanently frozen. But other than that, of course, anybody could die here. But if you can't take care of yourself when you're older or you're sick, they ask you to go to the mainland because they don't have any support for you. That's kind of what they mean with you can't be here when you're older. But there's no limit or anything. You can be here for as long as you can take care of yourself. It's very cold. It's like -19, and we're sitting on the cold ground. So we're gonna have to shift around a little bit to get through this. Sarah, how did your family react to you moving to Svalbard permanently? How did they do?
My mother was excited.
Yeah?
She knew it's a good place.
Mm-hmm.
So she loved this place.
Yeah, your mom loves it here. My parents were kind of like, what? Okay, that's cool. Really? Are you staying? All right. A what? You bought a house? Oh, okay. Do you ever see killer whales or any other whales? Armella. Are you cold? Armella. We have had a few killer whales here a few years ago. Otherwise, in the summer, we see a ton of whales. Fin whales, blue whales, humpback whales, all the time. Belugas. So many whales. Like a pod of, at least 60 belugas floats into the Longyear bin here, and then they float around, and they're everywhere. So we have a lot of wildlife. Steve asks, how did you learn to edit your videos? Do you have any filmmaking influences? No, I just learned by doing. So I started editing, I think like 1.5 years ago, not even. And it was tough to learn like Premiere Pro because I found it quite difficult in the beginning, but it's like anything else. You learn. I was on YouTube all the time watching different tutorials and just kind of finding out what I want to do and how to do it. And then I switched to Final Cut Pro and life was easier because Final Cut Pro is epic. So I started with the difficult software, but it's just, you can learn it. Anybody can learn it, but you just have to spend time. And I'm still learning all the time, and I'm, working out what kind of editing I want to do and what my style is. And I love it. It's a lot of fun. creating something. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Christina, are there any precautions you have to take in your daily life due to wildlife besides carrying a gun when you're outside? Like not storing food and stuff outside? Yes. So we live outside of town in our cabin, which means that we have to think about it a bit more. So we don't keep any food outside. We try to make it as like, yeah, we just try to keep it, what can we say?
Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple.
When
and
you
don't
go to the car, you look around the corners.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like we do that every time I walk out of my cabin. Before I go to my car, which is 60 meters up in the road, I have to look to the right and look around and I look to the left. Any polar bears? Yes or no? Then you walk. Because Christopher once went to work and he didn't notice that there was one there. And he just like, la, la, la. And then he figures out afterwards that it was just right there.
My friend called me a few minutes later and then he was messing around with his cabin.
Yeah, so our friend, his friend called him, and our neighbors, and the polar bear was right there, and Christopher just left, so he was right beside it. He didn't see it. So that happened. But as you can see there, that polar bear had zero aggression. It was just curious and scared, so it was walking around.
I'm curious. Play with anything.
Filippo asks, hi Cecilia, for you, Grim and Christopher, what is for each of you the best season of the year? I think for Grim it's summer because he can live outside and just have the best time. I think he loves summer.
But he loves the snow.
Yeah, oh, that's so true. He does love the snow. Yeah, he likes all seasons, I think. For me, I love Polar Night. I find it to be extremely peaceful, beautiful, and magical. But like we usually say, every single season is so special in its own way that it's all needed and all appreciated.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. Summer is nice, winter is nice, autumn is nice. Nice. Everything is good.
Yeah.
You need them.
Yeah. And Lorraine, how often do you leave Svalbard?
For me, almost never. When I have to.
It really doesn't. Like... yeah, you don't need that often because you just, I don't know, you don't. I usually do a few trips per year, so I go to Gothenburg usually in the beginning of the year after Polar Night, and I visit like my friends and my sister, and then I go to Portugal in the summer, and that's what we've done also the last few years. We go to Portugal to my parents' house for like a month in July or something, or June maybe, and then either we go on a trip together or I go to my sister in America in the autumn, like in October or something like that. So I try to go down to the mainland or something 3 times per year for smaller and like one proper trip. But now I don't think we're going to be able to leave in like a year, you know? We haven't left since last year, September or something. Yeah.
No.
It's crazy. That's a long time. And it's going to be at least till summer more, you know. Lorraine also asked, do you make enough money with Patreon and YouTube to make a living beyond being a content creator now? I would say that with your support and with people watching my YouTube, that I make just enough to cover my expenses and to be able to kind of try to make this my life and my business. So that's super exciting. So I'm just gonna like keep on keeping on and just try to grow this more, and it really is thanks to all of you that I was able to like put more time into this, which is so exciting, which is why we're here today filming a Q&A. There's 2 snowmobiles arriving, but so yeah, that's very exciting. I'm hoping that it's gonna grow more so I can do more fun stuff, and I'm just thankful that it covers my expenses now, so I'm able to like put time into it without like full focus. All right, Jessica, does everyone on Svalbard speak English?
Yeah.
Yes, pretty much. Norwegian is the official language, but I would say that everybody speaks English, and you can get around well with English. Sorry, it's a bit cold, so we're gonna shift around. There's a lot of things happening. Okay. She also asked, do you speak the primary language? Yeah. So Swedish is so similar to Norwegian that we don't have to learn it, and that we can just use Swedish and learn some extra words. Pretty cool. So we don't like, I think if I had to speak Norwegian, I would figure it out. It's not bad. It's easy. Armella, are you not afraid of you losing your drone while you're driving away? No. The drone is badass.
Yeah.
It literally follows you and it's so good, and DJI are so good. So no, I just fly all the time and everywhere because it gives me great shots and cool shots, and it's worth it. And it's a really good drone. Okay. Hurra! Grim! Grim! Kom hit! Grim! Gärna komma.
Grim, kom här.
Bra! Kom here! Yes! Okay, Andrea asks, are there any crime or social issues in your village?
Not much.
No. Petty theft?
Almost nothing. It's just
They're
a couple of drunk people making fuss sometimes.
stealing shoes by mistake?
Jackets.
Yeah. That is like what it is.
corridors, go into wrong apartments.
That is a big one. Like, there are so many, like, we don't lock our doors here, right? Because nobody does.
Game, come
Sorry,
here.
we just get him to stop.
Come
Okay.
Grim.
There are some people here. So, because this is like a really popular, beautiful viewpoint. So we're just gonna make sure Grim stays a little bit quiet. Yeah, so what we said is, it's very common to not lock your door here. We just don't. And there are so many times people have woken up with other people in their apartments asleep on the floor because they're drunk. And it's not even like scary in that way. It's kind of like, oh, who are you? Who can I give you back to? Or like somebody takes a photo and posts it on Facebook and says, who knows this person? Does somebody own this, like this man? And then someone's like, yeah, okay, I'll come and get him. It's always like that. Are any other questions? No, that's it. That's exciting.
Not bad.
It's a beautiful day. So now, since we are shifting around because it's a bit cold. Oh my god, my legs are falling asleep. Hey, Grim. It's a little bit cold on the ground.
Yeah.
It's not cold in the air, but the things that get cold are your feet and your knees and your hands. And everything else is like fine. But so we're gonna go and we're gonna take some photos. I'm gonna drone a little bit, and then we're gonna go to the village and we're gonna go shopping, and it's a full day. And then it's Einar's birthday tonight.
So, party time.
Party time. I'm never gonna drink alcohol again because I drank with Olivia 2 weeks ago, and the hangover is still on my body and my system. So I'm just gonna be. I just don't drink much. Thank you, honey, for being in this. Your jacket is ridiculous. But oh my god. And thank you all for the support and for being here. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. We're going to make more. And I hope you like the location for this one. It's cold. This one. And that Christopher's in it. He's getting more used to being on camera now. But just cut him some slack. He is a lot more social in real life. He just kind of freezes up in front of the camera in English. No, you do speak like an insane amount of words off camera. He does. People are like, oh, he looks quiet. I'm like, he's not quiet. He's really loud. All right, bye guys.